Hungduan in Ifugao is one of my favorite places in the whole country. It's so true to its origins and is a national gem that I hope won't change. Every year, 3 rituals take place to mark the end of the rice harvest and the beginning of a new cycle: the Baki, the Inum, and finally, the Punuk, or collectively known as the Hua. I was in Maguindanao, and to make it to the Punuk in time, we drove 5 hours from Cotabato City to Davao, flew to Manila, slept 5 hours, took a plane to Kauai and Isabela, and finally drove the 4 hours up north.
Currently on the road to Banawe. It's just gonna be a lot of this going up.
A total of 18 hours to reach our destination.
After 5 hours in the car, lots of landslides, fog. It was quite scary to actually drive and just people kind of like running through the street. We finally arrived here at the Banawe Hotel where we'll be spending the night. So we're too late, obviously, to make the drinking ritual, which happened this afternoon, and that usually goes on till just very early in the night. And then so we're just gonna have dinner, chill. It's been a long day of traveling, and sleep early so that tomorrow we can wake up early and finally just experience the Punuk. Good morning. All right, so it's about 6 a.m. here at the Banawe Hotel, and finally the weather is looking great. So yeah, I can show you a quick drone shot of the view I was lucky enough to wake up to. Beautiful.
The province of Ifugao in the north of the Philippines is known for its UNESCO heritage rice terraces that run through the Cordilleras mountain range. From the most famous ones in Banawe to some that remain quite remote, this province was one of the only ones that was barely affected by colonization and maintains until this day a strong indigenous culture. The Igorot is a group of about 20 different tribes that inhabit these mountainous areas. Each of them have their own roots and belief systems. The Ifugao are one of these tribes. We missed out on it, but the Baki is when an animal is usually sacrificed and inspected to determine whether the offering is good enough for the gods. This is then followed by the Inum, where rice wine in jars are shared among prayers and chants before the sun falls and everyone gets ready for the Punuk the next day.
So this is where the rice wine that we had is made, in these big vats right here. And it's beautiful. It's like a delicious sweeter sake. I actually don't understand why they don't produce that, because people would definitely buy that. And I'm surrounded by all the red rice that they've picked, so dry red rice. And it smells so good.
The Mumbaki, the ritual specialist, sat under the albang or rice granary, chanting and praying to the native gods, before inviting us to partake in rice wine, chicken, and the pig stomach from the night before.
So we were told that we all get a little bit of food and some rice wine.
These areas are dominated by a rice economy. Those who own multiple rice fields are the Kad-Angyan. From this group, the largest landowner, the Dumapag, is designated and given the responsibility to lead all rituals. As the Mumbaki finished off his last prayers, the newly designated Dumapag sat quietly, making sure everything was being done properly. I was lucky enough to sit next to her for a little bit and squeeze in some questions before the rest of the day unfolded.
Okay, ritual is done. Prayer over the food is done. Now we're just walking in between the rice terraces. I swear this is probably one of the most surreal experiences when you get to walk in between rice terraces, because it's just so beautiful and it's so breathtaking. I mean, look at everything that's around me. It's gorgeous. So we're heading down to the meeting where the 2 rivers kind of converge, and that's where the 3 different barangays will meet. So they'll make lots of noise, and it's basically supposed to be like a challenge, and then they get down to the river, and that's where they do the punuk, or the tug of war. The more we walk, the more we see other people going down, so everyone here that lives in all these different houses, they all know that's happening today. So everyone coming down from all the houses on the hills, we're all going towards the river. Sometimes these passageways get a little narrow.
The gray sky blanketed the terraces, resembling large foreboding staircases for the gods. It was a game of patience at first, and all the spectators just looked to the hills, knowing to search for specks of red at a distance. Slowly, a glowing line of embers appears, barely distinguishable. 3 tribes descend from the hills, chanting at the top of their lungs, waving leaves and branches, towards where the Hapao River converges with one of its tributaries. All 3 are now together: Hapao, Baang, and Nung Ulunan.
So as you can see, it's about to start. All 3 tribes are here. They're all taunting each other. It's a good time.
Become calmer.
A tug-of-war then ensues in the middle of the river using the pakid, intertwined saplings of the atoba tree, connected to the other tribes with a kinaag, a ring-shaped class of sorts. Men and women take part, encouraged by the playful taunts of opposing barangays. Even our own Secretary of Tourism teamed up with the Dumapag and friends to take part in this tradition.
Right in the middle of everything.
After a winner is declared, the human-shaped kinaag is thrown into the river, to be taken downstream by the currents, letting other villages know that the harvest in this area has come to an end. This is one of the few remaining non-commercialized rituals we have left, and you can tell that the people do it for themselves, not those of us watching from the sidelines. I've picked rice before, and it's a back-breaking, difficult mental and physical profession, which is probably not helped by the temperamental weather we have nowadays. This is a moment for all the farmers to reconnect with their way of life, their history, to laugh the season's adversities away, and reinvigorate everyone for the upcoming cycle. I'm so happy that I was able to observe it this year. It really truly felt like a privilege.
So at the end of the tug-of-war, there are various kind of like small competitions going on. They even vote on the best kind of bark that was used for the tug-of-war, and then at the end of it, the barangay that wins gets prize money, which is really cool. The festivities are pretty much done. People are about to eat some crazy looking red rice that we had this morning that was absolutely delicious also. And then there was some pork out there as well. It's gonna be a huge feast and good times. Unfortunately, we have to head back to Manila.